Hi, my name is Ashley Stott, and I'm going to be talking about Sears Roebuck in reference to the 5 stages of decline from How the Mighty Fall by Jim Collins. Sears and America had flourished about the same time in regards to retail. Sears was best known for its monthly catalogs, its home goods, Craftsman, Kenmore. A lot of their products were used in all American homes and stores even. By the 1960s, 1 out of every nearly 200 workers received a Sears paycheck, and nearly 200 3 in 200 received a Sears credit card. For nearly a century, the company was able to anticipate big changes. This was the shift to automobiles, mail-in ordering when the company was young, and then shopping malls as the 1960s approached. But like so many other companies, Sears eventually turned inward, and its success was hampered because it was no longer able to grow. This brings us to stage 1, the hubris born of success. Stage 1 kicks in when people become arrogant regarding success as entitlement. They lose sight of what's truly a factor. A few of these for Sears is its small, heavy retail estate portfolio suffered as Americans flocked to standalone, what we call big box stores like Target, Walmart, Costco, while its other stores, starved of capital investments, often felt dingy. It also failed to listen to the customers and keep an eye on competitors. This was a big deal because companies like Walmart were approaching. The mentality of the company, an example of this, was the Sears Tower. It wasn't needed, but it was the tallest building in the world, and they felt like they were the biggest company in the world. So they needed this building. Mr. Kern with Walmart, he was the CEO in the 80s and the 70s, also said that they didn't even look at Walmart as a competitor because they were from Bentonville, Arkansas, for crying out loud. That was an exact quote. This leads us to stage 2, a disciplined pursuit of more. Tendencies of this stage is straying from what brought you to greatness, investing in other things, trying to make something happen that didn't bring you to how you got there, launching activities that don't fit into your economic profile. The company looked for new arenas to bring business in, and this, in 1986, was the Sears brought in the Discover credit card, the first major bank credit card launched in 2 decades. The strategy initially boosted revenue, but then it began to draw away from the merchandise. It weakened the products that they had initially become so popular for. So the company that used to anticipate all the problems could now not see what they were doing. They were being actually caught blindsided by the shift in the market, as well as the big box revolution that was coming. So in an attempt to keep up with these big box companies, Sears decided to buy out a failing and bankrupt Kmart. This brings us to stage 3, the denial of risk and peril. As companies move to stage 3, leaders discount negative data. They amplify positive information, and they spin things to make it look more positive. An example of this is in the 3rd quarter of 2007. There's a turning point because Sears reported a 99% drop in earnings. It's the worst time in the worst quarter that their CEO, Mr. Lamport, took over. Everyone could see it except for their CEO. He ignored this and voiced skepticism about the value of the same store sales metrics and the capital investment in stores. Sears currently spends less than $2.25 per square, he reported. He couldn't see the problem in front of his face. This brings us to stage 4, grasping for salvation. They were looking for a savior, some big, bold game changer. So in 2014, it was a particularly brutal year. Stock plummeted 28%. They lost $1.7 billion. In order to fund its operations, they began selling and spinning off a lot of its assets, such as Lands' End, Sears Canada, and then they formed a retail group. So they're looking to still sell between 200 and 300 of Sears stores later this year, and they want to raise more than $2 billion. Now we're moving to stage 5. Capitulation to irrelevance or death. Sears has not reached the stage just yet, but teetering on the very edge. If we're there, we can only hope to learn from what they've gone through and lessons from their rise and fall.